15 degrees, so it's blowing up to 40 miles an hour, so bundle up if you're heading out the doors. Don't let the temperature deceive you because it feels quite a bit colder than that. I'm also here with Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki now. I must have got a little lost there. Welcome, Dean.
I did get a little lost.
Yeah. It's a big door on the left. Did I say left? I meant right. I'm sorry.
Took the wrong turn, went to the other studio instead of this one.
Well, we got some fun things in store for the plan or for our show today. We don't have a guest on here, so we're going to have to come up with something else, but some ag topics we're going to try and get to today is the hay business, and it's a few of these turkey facts, as we were just talking about pardon turkeys, so we'll talk a little bit about that, as well as herd health when weaning calves, and we'll focus on hoof and mouth disease today. As well, we'll always take a look at the forecast around us. We do, or we should say, I should say, that we are going to get some impactful weather coming in here tomorrow. Not too bad, snow total-wise, but with strong wind mixing in with some snow, it is going to cause reduced visibility, some slippery roads, and maybe not affecting the morning commute so much, but that afternoon and evening commute might be affected throughout eastern North Dakota into western Minnesota, including Lakes Country, Minnesota. So we'll touch on that. We'll take a brief look at national weather. We'll touch on the LRC a little bit as well. And if you want to join in on our conversation, ask us a question, give us a phone call, 701-293-9000, or you can always reach us via email at weatherorag@flagfamily.com for all those weather or ag-related questions or topics. And did I miss anything, guys? I think that was about all we got in store for today. Are we going to be doing anything else fun?
We're going to be talking about the rodeo out in Vegas.
Yes.
And how well these horses are treated out there.
Should be very interesting.
It'll make you want to be a horse for about 4 or 5 days.
Or 10, because it's a long rodeo.
Oh, 10. Well,
10
there you go.
Look at that. Well, we're going to take a short break here, get caught up on news from ABC, then Weather and Ag in Focus will return.
From ABC News, I'm Mark Remillard. Congress working to avoid a shutdown of the nation's railways, moving to intervene in negotiations between unions and rail companies.
The Senate expected to vote today to force rail workers to accept a tentative deal and avoid a strike. Under the Constitution, Congress has the power to intervene in matters regarding interstate commerce and the national economy. So Wednesday, the House took the first steps, passing 2 bills. The first, preventing a strike, forcing workers to accept a tentative deal reached earlier this year, averting a shutdown that could cost the economy up to $2 billion a day, disrupt travel for millions, and send inflation even higher. The second bill gives 7 days of paid sick leave for rail workers. It passed with the support of just 3 Republicans. In the Senate, the margins could be even slimmer.
That's ABC's Alex Preche. President Biden calling on the Senate to move quickly and get him legislation by the weekend. President Biden is set to host his first state dinner as president. French President Emmanuel Macron will join Biden at the White House today for meetings before the state dinner. The two are expected to discuss climate policy, the war in Ukraine, and China's growing influence. Closing statements set to begin in the criminal trial of former President Trump's namesake company.
The Trump Organization is accused of compensating certain executives by paying their rent, covering their car lease payments, and through other fringe benefits never declared on income taxes. Former Chief Financial Officer Alan Weisselberg pleaded guilty, and prosecutors are prepared to tell the jury in closing statements Weisselberg committed his crimes while in his official capacity as a top Trump executive. Defense attorneys will say that's not enough to convict the company. They'll say prosecutors failed to show Weisselberg intended to benefit the company when he hatched his scheme. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
The Treasury Department, meanwhile, says it's complied with a court order to allow the House Ways and Means Committee to access former President Trump's tax returns. This is after the Supreme Court denied Trump's request to shield them. You're listening to ABC News.
If you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in taxes, please listen to this important message. The IRS is aggressively hiring and quickly ramping up their tax collection team. Act now and protect yourself with a call to Tax Alliance. Don't let the money you owe the IRS keep you up at night and ruin your life. You may be surprised at how much having Tax Alliance on your side can protect you from the IRS collections and help you save thousands on what you owe. Here's what a customer had to say.
Tax Alliance did an amazing job helping me through a quite difficult situation, saving me tens and thousands of dollars that I would have been paying paying for many years to come.
Tax Alliance is rated A+ with a Better Business Bureau with no consumer complaints. If you owe the IRS at least $10,000 or more in back taxes, have unfiled returns, or have a payment plan and are still frustrated, call Tax Alliance now for a free consultation. 800-577-4976. 800-577-4976. 800-577-4976.
Tax Alliance, your tax resolution solution.
Urban Toad Media has moved, now in a brand new location on Main Avenue in West Fargo. Urban Toad Media offers the same quality graphic design and professional photography. Urban Toad Media has been a leader in the FM area, providing exceptional graphic design and professional photography. They offer friendly and affordable service. You'll love working with Urban Toad Media. Visit their website at urbantoadmedia.com for more info.
Hi folks, WDAY Radio News Director Kyle Cornell here, and this year marks the 100th anniversary of WDAY Radio, and I'll tell you what a run it's been. A lot has changed in the radio business over the decades, but when it comes to news, WDAY has remained constant. That's right, this station was built on honesty and integrity, and generations later, we're gathering and delivering the news guided by the same principles on which the station was founded. Thanks for being such a loyal listener for all these years, and here's to another 100 more.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus 110. Right now, Meteorologist Justin Storm with Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki and WDAY Ag Director Bridgette Readel. And hey, Bridgette.
Howdy.
Hey. What's going on with the hay industry right now?
Well, right now, actually, we've got some folks that are looking to try to figure out how they can move some small hay bales, because with the drought situation that we've had, people who had some rain are looking to move smaller bales. So they're wondering, where are the places you can do that? There are a lot of local options, such as Facebook Marketplace, or if you're using Craigslist. But additionally, if you wanted to get to a larger scope and scale, feel free to use the places on any social media that you might have, and just even regionally, Bismarck Mandan's online shopping service. So Bizman on bizman.com, Bizman online. There's a lot of hay that's for sale there. So if you were in a drought area this past year, you're looking for some grass hay, maybe some cut road ditch hay, or some straw for bedding, there's quite a bit out there. Feel free to talk to folks to find what you're looking for. So it can indeed happen.
I've noticed that there is a lot of hay out there. When I up and down I-29, I always take a look on the west side of the highway, and there's just tons of bales out there. How long do the bales usually sit out in the field, or should they not be left out in the field through the winter? What's the kind of guidelines, or what is the hay, what's that look like?
Well, it's variable, and maybe that hay's been sold, just hasn't been picked up and trucked off the field yet. Now, if you've got large stacks, and then they're going to be there for some time, often you'll see them get tarped, at least the top 3 or 4 bales, so it'll shed rain and snowfall off of it without getting down into the hay. You'll see bales sit for some time, but if they're on a field, you certainly want them off by next spring, so that if the plants are growing back, or if that's a crop you got to plant in that field, you want them out of the way. And above all, it's nice to move them now before snow gets too deep, because when the snow is deep, it's hard to plow your way back out there and bring those bales in for your stock. Speaking of which, is this a good time to ask, how much snow are we going to get tomorrow, guys? Just curious. I got places to go.
Less than 10 inches.
Less than 8
Can we
inches.
round that up?
Yeah, no, it looks like about 1 to 2. There was a couple models trying to squeeze out 3, but I think, as Justin alluded to earlier, I think the big problem is going to be the winds, with 20 to 40 mile an hour winds, and that's going to be blowing whatever does fall all over the place, and
as well as what's currently falling.
What's currently falling will reduce visibility. Now, we're not talking about blizzard conditions. But we are talking about reduced visibility. I think if we had some fresh snow on the ground, we'd be looking at a whole different ball game. Then we would be looking at possible blizzard conditions.
Right, and at times, mainly while it is snowing, there may be areas that have blizzard-like conditions while you're driving through those snow
in the
showers.
open country. Yeah, but it wouldn't last long. Sure. It wouldn't be sustained. So. Okay. But if you're traveling tomorrow, conditions will deteriorate as we head throughout the day. Just keep that in mind. And then cold air and Arctic air settles in next week. Although the true core of the Arctic air doesn't look to be really entering our area, but it will be the coldest air of the season with the highs only in the single digits and nighttime lows 10 below, depending on how much snow we get. And
that will be the huge factor for who gets the coldest, is whoever gets the most snow that actually stays where it fell.
That might be a problem, but then we might get another surge of light snow when that Arctic air pushes in early next week. So, yeah, some cold air.
What you're telling me is dress warmer. Plan ahead.
Well, even tomorrow, you know, temperatures in the morning, which is where our high temp will be in low 20s, near 20 degrees, but they're just going to be falling into the teens. You mix in the wind, you'll have wind chills as low as 20 below tomorrow in the afternoon, especially towards evening.
And we have some breaking news.
Oh.
We have some breaking news about the LRC. The cycle cycle has been set. We cannot give you the length of. Gary asked us, please do not give out the length of the cycle this year. Now, whether he's going to break that on our weather special next Wednesday, we'll see. That'll be up to Gary this year. But we do have the cycle length set now, and we will be putting together kind of a miniature calendar, and we'll be presenting that next Wednesday when we have our winter weather special. So we'll be able to, if you remember when the blizzard that hit Bismarck back in, I believe it was November 8th. Was it right around there?
On Veterans Day.
Sure.
Yeah, 8th to the 10th, somewhere around there. We will be able to tell you when that next system is going to cycle through a couple times during this upcoming winter and spring. So we'll kind of target the dates on that, when we can expect that to come through, when we can expect these cold pushes, because you think it's cold now when these Canadian air masses slide through. They're going to be even more harsh as we head throughout the winter, obviously, but we'll be able to target those days as well. And yeah, this is going to be a fun winter weather outlook next Wednesday. And we'll be able to help our ag community as well, Bridgette, and we'll be hitting on that when the dry cycles will be during this LRC for the upcoming spring and into the summer as well.
And I really want people to bring their pens and notepads and ask questions. Write those dates down, because make sure that you see what's going to be coming, when it's going to be coming, and we're going to do live call-ins that day. So we really want people to reach out to us at 293-9000 to ask those questions and kind of judge us a little bit on how are we doing? What do you think the accuracy is? Because I know you guys don't mind it when people ask you a lot of questions, just like they did Tuesday morning up at the Fargo Dome for the Northern Ag Expo. So we appreciate it when people call in.
When we were at that at the Fargo Dome with the Northern Ag Expo, there were a lot of people there that had really good questions, and I hope that they give us a listen and they call in with more on Wednesday.
Yeah, there's some.
And here's the thing: they tried to stump you, and you always got them.
Well, and like you were saying, they said, how accurate is it, and do you really believe in this? Is this true? And like Bridgette said and Justin said when I introduced you guys to this, there's no way this could be. There's just no way. Well, we proved it last year on the Jay Thomas show, where Jay held our feet to the fire saying, all right, you said this time of the year this was going to happen. Son of a gun. It did.
Yeah, I think the craziest one was you told him, watch out for a possible severe weather outbreak in the middle of April, and he's just like, no.
And we did.
Sure enough, you get a risk for severe weather issued right in the middle of April for the Red River Valley. So that was very fun to watch actually play out.
Well, but just statewide, that was a biggie twice. When you think back, we had two major blizzards
in
April that affected the majority of the state of North Dakota. Because guys up at Minot, I shouldn't say just guys, I apologize, that was a generalization, but people at Minot saw upwards of 34 to 36 inches of snow in the month of April. That was tremendous.
That's crazy.
Good.
And that's right.
And dose of snow.
And that's important to know too when, calving season is underway, and if you know a blizzard is coming 2 months in advance, you can kind of prepare ahead of time for that.
Mm-hmm.
So sure, you can think some things through.
Yep. So that blizzard that hit right around Veterans Day will let you know when that's going to cycle back through a couple times this winter. This Wednesday, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun.
Should be a very good time.
Yeah.
We hope that you all take some time out of your day to join us live. And if you, by chance, aren't able to watch or join us live, which will be on our Facebook, YouTube, as well as our website, WDAYradionow.com, you'll be able to go back and watch it later. So if you're at work, you can come back at night. You can watch it on, like I said, Facebook, YouTube, or as well on our website. But we're going to take a short moment here. When we come back, we're going to be talking a little bit about turkey facts, and maybe we'll try and squeak a little bit about herd health when weaning calves. So stay tuned. Weather and Ag in Focus. We'll be right back.
Research shows listeners prefer a personalized experience. So to help you remember, Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance. We personalized this ad for Amber, who really misses boy bands from the 90s.
Hey girl, I'm the cute one, here to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I'm the heartthrob. The only thing I love more than you is saving. And I'm the other boy in the band everyone forgot about.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Missed Black Friday? Dell's Cyber Monday event starts now with deals on powerful business tech. The savings start now with up to 50% off on select business PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, plus free shipping on everything and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL for Cyber Monday deals. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Dr. Travis Stork here to tell you about a great pain reliever called Salon Pass Pain Relieving Patches. Salon Pass is pain medicine in a patch. You stick it right on sore muscles for up to 8 hours. Clinical research has shown that people that used Salon Pass reported less pain with improvement in mood, sleep, and the ability to work. Safe, effective relief is one peel and place away. Salon Pass, it's good medicine.
Well, President Trump has announced, and now Ron DeSantis is rising fast in the polls. Newsmax is conducting an urgent poll. Do you want Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis as your candidate in 2024? It's a big question. Newsmax wants to know what you think. Vote in the Newsmax poll, Trump versus DeSantis. Just text the word ZONE to 39747. That's ZONE to 39747. It only takes seconds. Let your voice be heard. Every day I tune into Newsmax for news I can trust. They're even beating CNN in some key ratings. So make the switch and vote in Newsmax poll on Trump versus DeSantis. Text the word ZONE to 39747. One more time, the word ZONE to 39747. And make the switch to Newsmax today. You'll love it.
Save now on premium mattresses, pillows, bases, and linens at Accord Comfort Sleep Systems directly across from Olive Garden. Find the best mattress design and construction with our exclusive technologies such as our Accord Comfort Reflex Layer, ensuring proper spinal alignment. Our Thermodyne Climate Control fabric is perfect for the couple sleeping hot and cold. Buy today and take it home today, or free delivery in the FM metro area. Accord Comfort Sleep Systems. You're going to love sleeping with us.
Welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. 122 this afternoon, 30 degrees outside with wind. Wow, it's gusting up to 30, producing wind chills about 18 degrees right now here in Fargo. I'm Meteorologist Justin Storm with Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki, as well as Ag Director Bridgette Readel. You're listening to us on WDAY, or you're watching us on Facebook Live or YouTube Live, as well as on Acres TV. Now, Bridgette, why don't we talk a little bit about turkeys, because we were talking earlier with Charlene about the turkeys that were getting pardoned by the president, as well as the North Dakota governor. A few little incidents that happened. That was kind of funny. What was it? Was it Reagan that got hit by the turkey?
Reagan? Yep. He got ambushed, you might say.
Thought it was Reagan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I think.
No, he said it was Bush.
Oh, was it Bush? It was
yeah.
Bush. Okay.
Was it Bush? Yeah. Nonetheless, somebody got whopped by a turkey, and at North Dakota's pardoning, I believe when Hoeven was still governor, she said he and the ag commissioner had to try to corral a turkey in a small conference room, and it wasn't necessarily going as well as one might expect. Oh, wow. So as far as turkeys are concerned, some fun facts. Tell me if you guys know this one. When a turkey gets mad, excited or defensive,
It gobbles.
its head and neck, not quite, but its head and neck will turn white.
Really?
So unlike when your dad was mad at you and his face got red, the more emotion a turkey has, the whiter its head.
That's hilarious.
So, and as far as that gobble, how far away do you think you can hear a turkey gobble?
I'm going to go
distance?
3/4 of a mile.
So close, because it's a whole mile.
I was going to say 1.5 miles. Okay.
Wow.
Whole mile that you can hear them, but they can make 30 different sounds.
Really?
Now, this morning, Kevin Flynn on our sister station, The Flag, said that he actually turkey hunts, and he has the mouthpiece to do what a turkey hen does, and that's click, not gobble. He says, yeah, it's a little deal you can put in your mouth, and it clicks away so you can get that response and try to draw on a tom when you're hunting. Because turkeys don't have phenomenal night vision. They can see color, but they can see almost 100 yards ahead of them, and they've got a really wide field of vision, so it's hard to sneak up on them. Now, I've never tried to sneak up on a turkey, and it'd probably be best that I don't, because they can run about 25 miles an hour if you wanted them to.
Wow.
That's a fast bird.
That was really fast.
I've seen them on the golf courses, and they don't move that fast. That's for sure.
I've seen them on the road, and they don't move that fast.
On the golf course, they're waiting for you to not look so they can sneak some things out of your cart cubby hole, like your granola bars and, and corn nuts and stuff like that. They're no fool. They know. And, there's some other animals that are not fools out there. One of them would have to be when it comes to getting ready for weaning. The calves don't necessarily like it when they're separated from their moms as they come back from pasture. So vets are giving you a little bit of a heads up on some things that you can do during that weaning. Keep the cows and the calves in pens close to each other so that they have that familiarity and the calves don't feel quite as abandoned. As calves move to bunk feeding instead of nursing off the cow, you're probably going to want to walk through those pens a lot more frequently, make sure everybody's feeling okay, that there's no one that's not eating or not figuring out how to get to the bunk. It's kind of like, cows are like kids in a junior high. And if somebody else is up there schlepping up all the food, the rest of you can't get up to the front of the line either. So you sometimes have to help them out a little bit and put the overly aggressive ones towards the back. So that may have to help.
And we got an email from one of our listeners, Michael. He said, turkeys don't fly. So they have to compensate somehow by having a lot of speed. I disagree. Michael, have you ever seen the WKRP episode, Turkeys and Do Fly?
Okay, hang on. In real life, not just WKRP, turkeys can fly, and they can fly up to 55 miles an hour if they need to, and they will roost in trees. They like oak trees best.
Get out. 55 miles an hour?
That's got to be the little birds, because it's not like I've ever seen a fat bird move that fast.
Yeah, not like a 30-pound bird flying at you at 50 miles an hour. Like, oh, God. Wow. I knew they could fly, but I didn't think they could fly that fast.
But now remember, weren't we just talking not that long ago about the bird flu and how do you know if a wildlife are sick? Right. And our guest made mention of the fact that you could actually see them crash into trees. So can you imagine if a goose or a turkey wasn't paying attention, even with their good field of vision, and just randomly ran into a tree? That at 55 miles an hour? That's a heck of a car
I don't
crash.
think they're getting up after that.
I don't think so either. Probably be best to call a vet, maybe our large animal vet friend, Dr. Fox from Ashley Vet Clinic could maybe help you out in that situation.
Now, let's touch a little bit, Bridgette, on the rail strike, because Congress, I guess, did step in. Now, I don't know if they resolved anything totally.
I think it got sent to the Senate today. It passed the House yesterday.
Okay. So if they don't pass something, then, I mean, even if they do pass something, so the unions have to abide by that, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe that's the case.
Yeah, but if, let's say they don't pass something, how, again, we've touched on it before, but kind of remind people, how will this affect, we know how it'll affect food supply and just about everything that we have that's run by rail. We'll see prices definitely go up, but how is it specifically going to affect the ag community if we don't get something done here?
If things don't get done, that rail strike is set to go on December 4th, which is going to happen over the weekend. And it's estimated it would cost the United States somewhere in the neighborhood of $2 billion per day if the railroads shut down. We already have a trucking shortage where there's a lot of things that we can't move. Currently, if you think about what's happening here in the U.S. agriculturally, we've very much wrapped up our harvest. Now's the time to be getting product to port, whether we're moving corn, soybeans, wheat, etc. That can all move by rail. Some of that backhaul would also include coal. Even though we don't think about coal agriculturally, it's still very well tied together, especially here in the state of North Dakota, and we need to move around that fuel. There's other large opportunities. You're moving equipment around, you're moving input supply, whether it's parts, whether it's herbicides for next year that could be moving by rail. There's a tremendous amount of things that will be happening. And as you said, Dean, probably the worst one is that dollar figure effect on us as consumers. We're already in an inflationary status for food. That's not going to go down if things like tanker cars of fructose or vegetable oils that are used for processed cooking aren't going to get to their destinations right now.
And
That'll be a problem.
What would it affect most, though, for ag? Would it affect the fertilizer? Would it affect parts? Or it just all the same?
I don't know if there's a way to break them down. I think it's all the same.
Okay.
The first thing that comes to mind for me, though, is moving just simply that harvested crop, that corn and soybean around. But I think the next biggest one would be fertilizer. If we haven't filled all of the sheds for the spring season, because we just finished doing fall application, that would impact us right now as we're trying to get ready for spring of next year already.
You know, Bridgette, I got a question. It doesn't go along the lines of the rail strike, but the whole supply chain and transportation of equipment, how has that been looking like up in the Red River Valley for the supply of equipment around the area? Are we seeing those supplies starting to kind of tick back up, or for what's coming in, is it just going out just as fast? Because it seems like every other day, maybe twice a week on I-29, I see a couple of combines being shipped north every other day or so.
So if you were at the Northern Ag Expo and walking around the show floor talking with farmers, you heard, or even retailers, by the way, you heard folks mention the fact that depending on what you were ordering, the size of your machine, you could be on a waiting list from 12 to 18 months for something new. You may be able to find trade-ins in other parts of the country that could get moved around. And I would say that it's pretty variable. Like, do you want to, what's a mid-sized tractor? You might have a little better chance of finding that than getting a brand new sprayer in a timely fashion by the time we get to the field in the spring. But there's a lot of farmers who are buying equipment, whether it's new or used. When their delivery happens, may still be a little bit variable for them. A number of things going on, though.
Interesting. Well, when Weather and Ag in Focus returns, I think we'll take another quick look at the forecast, and then we'll kind of turn our focus.
Let's talk about the National Finals Rodeo, shall we?
Let's talk about that indeed. So stay tuned. Weather and Ag in Focus. We'll be right back.
No matter where you are on your spiritual journey, there's a place for you at Olivet Lutheran Church. We know life can get busy. There's a new normal that we're all trying to find our way through. Maybe you haven't been to church in a while. Maybe you've never been. Or maybe you're looking for a new church family to connect with. Whatever the reason, know that you are welcome and you are loved. Join us for in-person and online services Sunday mornings at 8:30 and 10:30 and Wednesday evenings at 6. Encounter Jesus, experience grace. Olivet Lutheran Church.
You can always count on Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. Always crisp, always easy drinking, always just right. The perfect balance of flavor and refreshment since 1903. Welcome to the High Life. 2019 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Celebrate responsibly.
It's Jay and Ronnie from the Coffee Club, and we enjoy drinking coffee because it keeps us energized and focused.
Well, let's be frank. I enjoy drinking coffee because coffee keeps me wide-eyed in the morning, but I'll tell you this type of coffee is organic, specialty-grade coffee, beans selected from the top 2% available, 100% Arabica bean coffee, certified organic, non-GMO, low acidity, rich, smooth, and ready to drink.
The finish is clean and it has a pleasant aftertaste. It's delicious. It's so far the best coffee that we've had. It's also roasted and packed in the US of A. We love it and we guarantee you will too. All you need to do is go to mystore.com, click on My Coffee, and enter the promo code WDAY.
That's promo code WDAY to get your own My Coffee.
It's also roasted and packed in the US of A. We love it and we guarantee you will too. Go to mystore.com, promo code WDAY.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the North Dakota Army National Guard. Aired by the North Dakota Broadcasters Association and this station.
Are you suffering from neuropathy? Do you experience stabbing, numbness, tingling, or burning in your feet? Are you tired of sleepless nights and avoiding life due to pain? If you've been diagnosed with neuropathy or have pain or numbness in your feet, call us right now before it's too late at 701-929-7505. Again, 701-929-7505. Neuropathy is a very serious and progressive disease where your nerves start to break down. It can lead to balance problems, complete loss of independence, and in some cases, amputation. Our program addresses the underlying causes and doesn't simply mask your symptoms with medication. In fact, many patients start to feel relief from their symptoms within weeks. There's no surgery and no use of prescription drugs. Pick up the phone and call now at 701-929-7505 or find out if you're a candidate for our neuropathy program that has changed thousands of lives. Call us today at 701-929-7505.
Welcome to WDAY Weather and Ag in Focus. We're thrilled to have you joining us today. I'm Bridgette Readel, Ag Director, with our Cruck Meteorology team, Chief Dean Wysocki, and Justin Storm, Meteorologist Extraordinaire. If you would like to ask us questions, join our conversation, whether it's about the forecast or any of the headlines we're reaching out to you about today, you can do that at 701-293-9000. Please check out our Facebook page, Weather and Ag in Focus. Like, share, and you can send us questions there. We tend to post things on a very regular basis that can be good references for all of you, such as our graphic this week talking about cleaning out your combine, where weed seeds can hide. And we'll probably have some other exciting things, especially tomorrow when our guest, Randy Nelson, Clay County Extension Educator, joins us. Randy's going to talk about all those holiday plants that you're trying to keep alive. I mean, I am. Poinsettias, live Christmas tree. That plant I can never say, amaryllis, which sounds a lot like amaretto, which I know better because that's a booze.
That's good.
So, I mean, I got to pick and choose which name I want to use there. But anyway, speaking of things that are holiday traditions, one of them is the National Finals Rodeo in Las Vegas, Nevada, and that happens December 1st. So starting today until December 10th when the finals wrap up. Now, I sent y'all an article, and by y'all, I mean Dean and Justin, but I can send it to others who would like to see it too. And it's regarding the National Finals Rodeo and the care that's taken for all of the animals that are out there during this 10-day run. So, what are your first impressions after seeing that article, guys? Anything that jumped out at you that you thought, wow, that I didn't know?
The amount of animals that are out there, 525. That's
great.
Wow.
Now, and that's only the stock, like rough stock, if you want to call it that. Bucking bulls, or bucking horses, bulls that you're going to ride, calves, etc. That does not include the horses that a contestant brings. So if you're coming out to do barrel racing or calf roping, you bring your own animals. So there will be additional animals on top of the rough stock that'll be out there. That's a lot of critters.
Quite a bit of hay that gets delivered there as well. It was 68,000 pounds at a time.
Absolutely. And did you notice where they're keeping the animals during the day when they're not in the rodeo arena? and they actually are housed on a 3-acre grassy area. It's the intramural field for the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and it's about 2 city blocks away. They have an alleyway where they run animals back and forth from their pens to the Thomas and Mack Arena for show times. Their own veterinary staff that walk through the animals 3 times a day, in the morning, in the afternoon, and after performances to make sure that there's no injuries or illness that's being found amongst the stock. If you guys haven't watched the National Finals Rodeo, it's cool.
Every single animal there as well gets exercised every single day, too.
Do you want to be on the lead rope of a bull?
I don't. Someone might. Dean?
So no, that's okay. So they're not quite as spoiled as some of the dairy farm where they have their own water beds. Not quite that spoiled.
That's true.
Still.
But they have their own play pens, if you will. So like the bulls get a hill to run up and down, and the horses, the broncs, they actually get a sand trap to roll around in when they have an itch. So think what they're doing to that intramural field by the time it's all done. I don't think they'll be playing rugby out there after these critters leave. It's tremendous, the effort that goes into it. And because this is about the same run as the Minnesota State Fair, the amount of manure that gets hauled out. Now, nobody gave me that figure, but I don't think it's a small amount by the time they're done cleaning out the bedding.
600 animals.
Yeah. And they all have, much like what you saw before, they'd be sending that out to local farms to be able to use, or for composting, etc. And each animal has its own 288 square feet of space. I think that's bigger than my college dorm room.
Yeah, I'd think so.
So there's some pretty cool things to notice about the animals that are being housed out there.
Is this one of the biggest rodeos that goes on in the country down there? Is it the biggest?
This is like going to the Olympics of rodeo.
We had the NDSU bull riding and rodeo team that was on with us a few weeks ago. Is this the rodeo that they were talking about, like the top level end of the year? Like this is like the big professional Super Bowl of rodeos?
Absolutely. Now, the collegiate students, they're competing in their own collegiate version. But if you wanted to compete on the professional level, that's what this is. The national finals is the professional level rodeo. And the events that you would see would include calf roping. You'd also be out for steer roping. You'd be doing bull riding. You would be doing bronc riding. You would also have barrel racing and other events. And this is all televised, so you can be watching it and paying attention to all the events throughout the week. And when you get to the end, you get to watch who won the world, as they're called when they win their award saddles and buckles, who took the top in all of their events. And there's also an all-around cowboy, all-around cowgirl, that type of thing. And I don't know if everybody realizes how athletic you have to be, because if you think about it, sitting on a bull for 8 seconds sounds like not a big deal until you have to sit on a bull for 8 seconds.
Yeah. It's dangerous, too. I mean, I watched one rodeo one time online, and the guy got thrown off. Well, what are they, 1,600-pound bulls, or are they bigger than that?
Can be bigger. And so when you're riding bulls or broncs, a lot of time you'll see folks wear protective vests so they can't break their ribs, or at least less of a chance of breaking their ribs.
Because he fell off, and this bull just came and pounded right down on his chest with both of his legs. Arms.
Right.
Hooves, there we go.
If you fall underneath that animal, you don't have a lot of places to go. And the animal's not looking out for you. He's not trying to sidestep you.
Oh, no, he's trying
you'll
to
wear
get
a helmet. Oh, yeah. You'll see helmets on folks as well. Because, again, it's easy to get hit in the face. If you're on the back of a bronc or a bull and that animal rears up its head and you're on the downward swing and they come back up and smash you in the face, that's broken noses, broken cheekbones, all that type of thing.
Well, that
so
too.
There are doctors and medical staff too.
With those bulls on the road, I can't recall. Do those bulls have horns as well? Or
some can.
Some can. Because I know that
oftentimes
what is it? It's
if they would, they'd take the points off.
Yeah, because you can get punctured from it as well. And what's the big running from the bulls? Where is that held?
Paloma, Spain?
Yes. I have seen some pretty nasty things happen from horns on bulls and people and the combination of the two, and it's dangerous sport. I mean, I give him kudos. I would never do it.
Well, and if you consider it a sport, which many of us do, and you think about who the referees are, well, they're probably the rodeo clowns, because they have just as much activity in the ring or in the arena as does the actual cowboy or cowgirl. Their job is to make sure that that person doesn't get injured and try to minimize that by distracting the animal, getting them back into the right chute, down the right alleyway so they get out of the way. And there's also, especially during the riding events, you have cowboys on horseback in the arena that are the pickup men. Their job is to ride up alongside. So in case, for instance, on the screen, if you're watching, you can see bull riding. If you get hung up by your hand and you can't get off that animal and you need some help, your pickup man comes by on horseback to try to help you out, get you detangled, and get you away safely. Right. So it's important jobs for everybody.
And with this big rodeo down there, you said it's a 10-day rodeo
event.
Yes, the 10-day event. Do you, since it's like the top professional rodeo of the year down there, do you know what the top buyout or payouts are for this? Say like you come first place in bull riding in the competition. I mean, is this like a sizable winning?
Yes. I can't tell you what that dollar figure is off the top of my head. I bet Google will tell us very quickly if we tried to ask, or DuckDuckGo would tell us. But the dollar figures are certainly in the 6 digits if you're top crown winner.
It's a decent chunk
Plus,
of money.
you get the title of you won the world. You get the award trophy, the buckle, and as well as award saddles for many of those categories. And the stock contractors get awards too. So if you bring in one of the best bulls or one of the best broncs, you too get awarded as the contractor. And there are about 64, 65 contractors that from across the US and Canada that bring animals in for this event. You don't actually feed your own animals. So back to that discussion we had at the beginning of this segment, when it comes to who's taking care of them, the veterinarians, etc., it's the staff of the National Finals Rodeo. If you're selected to bring animals in for bucking stock or any of the contracted stock, you're going to fill out a form. What does your animal eat? What pertains to your region? So your animal continues to get the right hay, the right feed. So they're taking care of the absolute best while you're there, because you can't have 65 different contractors trying to feed the animals. That would get a little messy. And also, part of that staff's job is to keep everyone from stopping and thinking it's a petting zoo and petting all the animals.
Well, last year, so we're going on last year, $14.1 million in payouts.
Payouts or payout?
In payouts.
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 Outs. So that was across multiple people in multiple events.
Right. Yeah, that's still a good chunk of money.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, that's just remember, like any other sport, you can be injured. You have input costs, especially let's say you're in team roping and you've got to bring your own horse, trailer, pickup, feed, got to have your own supplies and equipment, and you've got to make all that work in order for you to be a part of it. And this is a qualifying event, so you also have to qualify to participate in the National Finals Rodeo. Unfortunately, Justin can't just buy a horse, pack him up in a trailer, and head out today in order to try to get to Las Vegas and be a part of the National Finals Rodeo. I know you're thinking about it, though.
I wouldn't even make it past like qualifying rounds at the rodeo. I'd be on the horse and it would start galloping and I'd be like, whoa, that's too fast. Slow down. Slow down. Fall right off.
It doesn't have an off switch. Nope, I'm afraid no off switch for you there.
Well, we've got to pay some bills, don't we?
I keep getting these emails and it says you're like 36 days past due. So yeah, I suppose we probably should go and pay these bills. So
we'll take a quick break here, and when we come back, we will talk about. We'll hit a little bit more on the LRC. We'll talk about national weather. They are getting some much needed moisture in parts of California. Severe weather that broke out over the southeast. We'll talk a little bit about that and what is to come in our weather. That and more coming up after the break. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, I'm Hector Elizondo, Emmy Award-winning actor, and I want to talk to you about getting older. My body hurts, my joints ache, and sometimes I forget. I forget that doing all your own scenes for a movie isn't always the best decision. Especially when you're galloping side saddle down a countryside road on a horse named Archibello, who seems to have only one speed. high. And pulling on his reins only seems to encourage him to go even faster. So, of course, my body hurts and my joints ache, but it's not because of my age. It's because I'm living my life. Oh, Archibello!
Don't let life pass you by. Take care of your brain health. It may just help you stay on top of your game.
As soon as this scene wraps, I'm going to kiss the ground, thank Archibello for his outstanding performance, feed him a carrot, and visit brainhealth.gov.
Find out how you can make the most of your brain as you age at brainhealth.gov.
11-year-old Mehdi lives in Ethiopia in extreme poverty. Like every child, Mehdi is a world of possibilities. But the world tells her otherwise. It tells her she has no value. It tells her she has no voice. It tells her she has no future. It doesn't have to be this way. Child Fund works in 25 countries to ensure that millions of children like Mehdi grow up healthy, educated, self-sufficient, and safe. Our programs help children fulfill their potential, no matter where they were born. Through Child Fund, children like Mehdi know their value, raise their voices, build a future. The right thing to do for Mehdi? Help change the world around her. Help her realize all her possibilities. Child Fund International. Learn more at childfund.org.
Soybean oil and soybeans close sharply lower on the day Thursday. This is the American Ag Network. of Jesse Allen with this closing market update. Well, it's really a perfect storm for bears in the soy oil market as prices failed to push successfully through areas of resistance on the charts. Managed money held very large long positions with few shorts. Oil stocks are building as crushers work at a historically high pace with strong oil yields. Exports are non-existent. Domestic edible oil demand is soft. Fund managers really had little justification for pushing prices through chart resistance, and that turned them into profit takers. And the final straw was the RVO package from the EPA that did little to provide additional support for soy oil demand. Many ethanol groups were happy with the EPA news on Thursday, but the renewable diesel industry was not. Still growing industry and just not at the unrealistic pace expected by fund managers. So we saw bean oil collapse on the day on Thursday. That spilled into soybeans. Corn and wheat were down moderately on the session. We did see good strength in hogs and mixed activity in cattle. December corn was down 12, 650. March corn down 6.5, 660 1/2. January beans down 39 3/4, 1429 3/4. March down 38 3/4, 1436 3/4. Bean meal for January up 380 a ton, 421.60. December bean oil down 683 points, 68.40. January down 450 points at 67.38. Chicago wheat for December down 12 3/4, 758 3/4. March down 12 1/2, 783. KC wheat March down 9 1/2, 890 1/4. Spring wheat March down 6 3/4, 936 1/4. Front month December was down 3/4 at 956. December live cattle down 2, 153.05. February down 25, 155.42. Feeder cattle January up 60, 181.07. December hogs up 22, 83.12, and February hogs up 385 at 89.20. That's closing markets on the American Ag Network. I'm Jesse Allen reporting.
Welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. We wanted to thank everybody for joining us on this kind of, well, now it's turned mostly cloudy. We had a little bit of sun earlier, but at least we've had some warmer temperatures, with temperatures reaching the upper 20s across much of the area. Across the nation, weather-wise, a lot of winter weather advisories, winter weather advisories for most of the state of Montana, a few winter storm warnings mixed in there. We've got great news for areas of California, Utah, where heavy snows are falling in the Sierra Nevada range. That's great news. They need that snow back this time of the year, and they're getting quite a bit of it, 2 to 3 feet out there. The system that's passing through areas of Montana, that will be sliding into the Dakotas, mainly North Dakota and northern Minnesota, going to see the most snow out of this, and by most, we're looking at maybe 1 to 2 inches of snow as we head into your Friday afternoon and into evening. So if you have any travel plans Friday evening, keep up to date on the forecast. We're not looking at a big snow. I don't think this is going to be a surprise event where we end up getting a whole lot of snow. But again, you get 1 to 2 inches and 30 to 40 mile an hour winds. it doesn't take much to not only kind of grease things up a little bit out there, but reduce that visibility, not only with the falling snow, but blowing snow. So if you have any travel plans on, let's say, Thursday mid to late afternoon, or Friday, I should say, Friday mid to late afternoon into the evening hours, might want to kind of hold off on that. It's not anything that we can't get through, but there will be pockets of that reduced visibility, especially on the east-west roads as that wind whips out of the north. Other than that, from the central plains all the way to the east coast, we're looking at quiet weather, which is a nice relief for the southeast because they saw, how many tornadoes was it? Did you say, Justin?
What was that, Dean? Sorry.
The tornado outbreak the other day in the southeast?
Oh, there were 53 reports with 39 tornadoes.
Okay. So, and unfortunately 2 deaths from that too.
From what I have seen, yeah.
So, again, this is, so with the LRC, this same pattern is going to cycle back. So we'll be able to tell you on our winter weather outlook when this next severe weather outbreak will hit the southeast, because this will cycle back a couple more times, and it may not hit the exact same areas, but it will be in the general vicinity. So that's the important part of the LRC. When these big weather events do happen, we can tell you to probably within a day when these will cycle back through the area. And again, we'll be going over all of this on our winter weather outlook December 7th. From 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock on the Jay Thomas Show. So make sure you have all your questions ready. We'll have Gary Lezak on with us. He's the inventor of the LRC. And that's going to be a really, really interesting and fun 3 hours that we'll have. And again, the more people we get to interact, the better. Gary loves answering questions. Gary loves just educating as we do about the LRC.
Yeah, so if you haven't already, go out to our Facebook or our YouTube page, Weather and Ag in Focus. Give it a like, give it a subscribe, so that way you can get notified or set a reminder through Facebook or YouTube, as well as on your calendar on your phone, for when that weather special is going to be again. That's going to be this Wednesday coming up, December 7th, 2 to 5 o'clock. And that'll be on right here on this station, as well as on our website, WDAYradionow.com. Weather and Ag in Focus on Facebook as well as on YouTube.
And we will also be simulcasting that on our sister station from 2 to 4, AM 1100.
Indeed.
So.
Because we have a lot going on next week, and so do we for the weather for the winter. And it's going to be great for those of us in the ag community to use it as a bit of a planning tool. So if you are thinking about your decisions for seed, maybe you haven't made all of them yet, you want to decide what type. Do you have to worry about drought tolerance or white mold for your soybeans, etc.? Why not tune in so you can get a little bit more information as you make those last decisions before the end of the calendar year?
And it was interesting, Bridgette. I don't know if did you tell Bridgette about the gentleman that came up to you from the Netherlands?
I did not.
Yeah, so we had a gentleman out at the Northern Ag Expo the other day, Bridgette, that he came up. He was talking with Justin. And he was in from the Netherlands, and he said he was very interested in the LRC, and he's like, hey, would this work over in our part of the world? And absolutely, it works globally. So yes. He was very interested in that as well. So, you know, I think that's great. The more this can spread around the world and use it as a tool to help save money for our ag community or any community that has to deal with that has weather as one of its top priority. This is a great forecasting tool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a good point, because we have those who are watching via YouTube or Acres TV, and perhaps you're in Canada or other places in the United States, and you're not sure if the LRC is really a fit for you. This isn't designed just for our tri-state region by any means. Gary has made this available all across the world, and he has customers on every continent. So we certainly want you to join in to hear what's happening in our region, but then also to pick up the information so you can subscribe and be a part of the LRC in your neighborhood.
Yes.
Exciting times ahead.
It is very exciting.
This is our Christmas.
It is.
It really is. If you're a weather geek.
Well, it's truly Christmas
you're a weather
for
geek.
everyone, you guys.
So, what other topics you want to touch on?
Well, I think we should touch on the focus on hoof and mouth disease, Bridgette.
Okay, so cloven animals, horses, sheep, cattle, those will have a problem from time to time with something called hoof and mouth disease. There are outbreaks that have happened around the world. We are trying to prevent an outbreak from occurring here in the United States, and measures are being taken by veterinarians as well as livestock associations to help prevent that. Lots of measures at the ports and at the borders to make sure that nothing's carried into the country. Funding is being put together in order to have a national vaccine bank. So if we have an outbreak, there's an opportunity for livestock producers to access vaccines very quickly. Hoof and mouth disease causes fever. It also causes blisters in the animal's mouth, and therefore they don't want to eat. When that happens, such as it did in 2001 in the UK, that was the last major outbreak on the globe, they had $9 million worth of livestock losses as herds died, were euthanized to keep them out of pain, that type of thing. Mm-hmm. So that's the situation we are currently looking at and want to make sure that we avoid. And so there is a renewed focus from veterinarians to those with cloven hoof animal herds to keep an eye on them. We don't want to see anything coming in from outside the country, so we're doing our very best to prevent that because it's a very quick spreading disease.
I don't know if you remember this. It was just in the news maybe a couple to a few months ago. And was this the reason why that person, I think he was flying to Australia or from Australia, and he had like a McDonald's Egg McMuffin or something, and he got hauled off the plane. Or maybe it wasn't that. It was something in regards to hoof and mouth disease, wasn't it?
Probably. And they'll ask you as you are entering the United States from other countries if you've recently visited farms, because you have to make sure that your clothes aren't contaminated, that you're probably not bringing the same pair of shoes from that farm, whether it was livestock or a cropping system, because we don't want you to bring disease spores in on your shoes. So it's very possible it had something to do with that as well as he was coming in from another country. And there have been some outbreaks in Australia and New Zealand. They've been localized, but nobody wants to see them spread.
I see. Well, that's going to do it for us here on Weather and Ag in Focus. We thank you for joining us today. We'll be back tomorrow, Friday, 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Remember that we are expecting some snow and blowing snow rolling in tomorrow. Dean will have a full look at that full forecast coming up here with the Jay Thomas Show, which will start in about 6 minutes.
970 WDAY